brave little tailor. I did a lot of community theater. I did a lot of extra work. I think when I was, you guys know what extra work is, right? Background. Has anyone ever done that? In a movie? Yeah? Was it a movie or a TV show? Far From Hope? Was it fun? That's unusual. Because when you're a background actor, you're in a movie and you're there for like, I don't know, 25 hours, freezing cold, no food. But I did a lot of movies. Has anyone ever heard of the movie, it's terrible, Howard the Duck?
No.
Yeah, so I was in that movie. I'm in the music video. And it was miserable, and I loved every minute of it. So I did a lot of movies and TV shows and plays and stuff, but background work. I got a job as Babet in Les Miserables, the national tour of Les Miserables in San Francisco, which was great because that was my hometown. So my mom, my dad, my piano teacher, my drum teacher, everybody got to come see me do this play, which was really cool. And when that was over, I moved to LA. And they were like, we don't care that you've done theater. We want you to be in TVs and movies and all that stuff. So it was a rough road. I worked at Universal Studios for many, many years, singing and dancing. I was in the Beetlejuice's Rockin' Graveyard Review. I played the Phantom of the Opera. I sang Great Balls of Fire about 5,000 times. It was really fun. It was a great job. And I did some TV stuff there while I was at Universal. I delivered newspapers. I worked in restaurants. I sold cookies. I did all kinds of stuff to get by because being an actor is really tough. And as I said yesterday, I did a play. I played 38 different people in a one-man show. So the cast parties were really boring because it was just me. Called Fully Committed. And I played a New York restaurant reservation clerk who keeps taking phone calls from all the people trying to get a table. And I did all the voices. No makeup, no hair, no costumes, nothing like that. Just voices. And at that time, there's an actress named Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. Anyone know who that is? She sings the songs for Silent Hill. You've heard her voice. She's been in the industry for a long time. Anyway, she was the casting director for Digimon, which I had never seen, and I've still never seen Pokemon. I won't do it. I want Pokemon Go. I want Pokemon gone. So anyway, she saw me in the play and she said, I think you need to come in and audition for this role. It's perfect for you. I had never watched anime. My anime was Speed Racer. Talk like this, you know. So I'd never watched it. I was completely unfamiliar with it. And I auditioned for the role of Takato in Digimon Tamers. You guys know that show? Yeah? It was a long time ago. It's 20 years ago, you guys. I was 5. No. 20 years ago. And I booked the job. It was my first job. I did not know what I was doing. I didn't know how to dub. You guys know what dubbing is?
Yeah.
Of course you do. You probably know more than I do. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to match flaps. I didn't know how to do efforts or how to read the script when it says CT. I didn't know that meant closed teeth. Or OM, open mouth. All these things that you need to do when you're acting for the scene. Completely unaware. So I really had to learn on the job, on the fly, because I booked the job and I was the lead of this huge franchise that went on for a long, long time. And of course I went on after that to do Agumon in Digimon Frontier. Anyone see that show? I am Agumon, keeper of the book. I have a book in my pants and there's completely nothing wrong with that. That was a weird show. People liked that show. I didn't watch it. What about Digimon Season 5, Digimon Data Squad? Anyone? Data Squad, yes? I was Agumon. And I didn't know that Agumon was in, what, Season 1 and Season 2? Or just Season 1? Anyone know? I don't know. But I didn't know that someone had already done that role, so I took over for somebody. I don't know why. Sometimes it's union issues, money issues. Sometimes they just don't want to do it anymore. So yeah, I was Agumon. Hey boss, I want some eggs. That was fun. And it was really an interesting job. Like, at no point, and even still, I don't think that this is going to continue. I've been doing it for 20 years, and it still feels like at any moment it's going to stop. And it really could. Who out there wants to be a voice actor? So a few, not a lot. Who out there wants to be an actor? Yeah? This is interesting. So a lot of people ask me, how do I start being a voice actor? And it's the same as being an actor. You need to take acting classes because voice acting is acting. It's the same thing. And in fact, it's even more restrictive. You know, on stage, here I've got the microphone, I can walk around, you can see my face. So all these tools that I have at my disposal, I can't use once I get into the booth. I can't run around, I can't jump too much. There's going to be popping on the mic, like there is on this mic. So you have to make all that come out of your voice. And that's for, let's say, original animation. Do you guys know what original and dubbing is? Okay, so original, I'm going to record the voice, and they're going to animate to that, right? And dubbing, I'm going to move my mouth, or I'm going to record to flaps that have already been recorded. So with original animation, you've got tons of freedom, for the most part. You can't go on and on and on like some of my friends do. But for dubbing, you can't even say, I want this character to be slow and methodical. If the flaps are going like this, you know, you gotta be yada, 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 yada. So you can't even act through that. So you have tons of restrictions and parameters that you need to act through. So I had to learn. And anyway, what I'm saying is if you want to be an actor and you want to be a voice actor, take acting classes, take voice classes, because it's musical, you know? When you have to do a voice and they're like, okay, Brian, we want you to do what you just did, but faster or higher. You need to hear that in your head, you know, musically, how that relates. Improv classes. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to do a session and they said, okay, Brian, you've got 5 lines as this character we cast you as, but we have 8 other characters that we want you to do. So now you have to come up with voices. So you have to, in your head, just figure out, okay, I'm going to play a toothbrush. And I did play a toothbrush. And I did play a folding chair. This was in a show called Bo 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 Bo. Anyone? Yeah? Weirdest show in the world. I played Dengaku Man. But I would go in for every session and I'd play maybe 40 characters, 15 characters, 30 characters, whatever, and I would have to come up with different voices. So what do you guys think a toothbrush would sound like? Do we want to get like a microphone out in the house? People want to like... We're going to have someone running around with a mic. I just want to hear how creative you guys are. These new actors, because this doesn't, you know, pertain just to voice acting. It's acting, it's creativity. So if someone said that you had to play a toothbrush, what would a toothbrush sound like? Go ahead and just run out to any raised hand. Or scream it out if I can hear you. Is it on? I don't hear you.
No.
There you go. Okay, great, yes. So that is the sound that a toothbrush would make. But give me a description of what a toothbrush would sound like if he spoke words. What's that?
Yeah.
J. Michael Tatum?
Yeah.
Is that a toothbrush person?
Yeah.
I imagine something like, up and down, don't forget your toes.
I like that. Now, here's the thing. That's really funny. That's great. But if that wasn't in the script, that would be a great improv. Like you can do that at the end of your line or something. That's hysterical. All right, so that's great. Do we have any more toothbrush things that people absolutely have to get out of their mouth?
You're a
Okay, this is fun. I had to play a mouse. So just give me a description of a mouse, like squeaky, right? What's another description that you would choose if you were going to audition for a mouse? Raise your hand over here.
Like Jerry. Mickey Mouse.
Like kind of shy and like fragile kind of in a way.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, so a very like meek and mild mouse. That's cool. Anybody else?
I think I know what mouse might sound like.
Yes, that's helium mouse. If we have the helium mouse, there's one back there, one back there. It's like a talk show.
It's wonderful. He complimented my shoes. He's like, oh, look at your shoes. You've been very tall.
High pitch, right?
And I'm just,
So here's what's really interesting, and this is what I always do in my career. I always choose the opposite. I always choose weird. So my mouse is
very flat.
low pitch, slow moving, maybe a Joe Pesci, you know. Hey, what are you laughing at me? You know, what am I, a clown to you? You know, that's an obvious choice for a mouse. But something else for a mouse, you know, like maybe like just completely like, hey man, the world is beautiful, man. I could go get that cheese, but I don't really want it. You know, like choose something really different. And the casting directors and the agents, they think that's interesting. And they're like, oh, we never thought of that. And also, this actor thinks outside the box. He's somebody that we probably want to use, you know what I mean? Also, sometimes when you're in the session and whoever has translated the script from Japanese to English and localized it, you guys know what localization is? They change some of the words, you know, to Americanize it, or, you know, in the UK or whatever, the signage in the background. Anyway, sometimes the lines don't match. The translator has made a line either too long or too short. And it's up to the director on the spot to rewrite the line. So you're standing in the booth waiting. Not often, but sometimes the director will say, hey Brian, you have any ideas? So your ideas, number one, have to match the flaps of the character, the mouth movements. But then it's up to you to come up with some creative idea. So improvisation, very, very key. Let's do one more. What about, okay, so a witch. What is a witch gonna sound like? Yeah. You can give me an example of what she'll sound like or a description.
For some reason, when I think about a witch, I think of the witch being very optimistic, and like she's a bit humorous, like she thinks of things in a funny way, and she like wants to be creative.
I think that's brilliant. It's really weird, it's really outside the box, and that is so much more interesting than, you know, the Wicked Witch of the West. What else? Outside of the box. Let's think outside of the box.
I was gonna say like cutely sarcastic, but like with like a really cute high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
But also like says like the most sarcastic and sadistic things.
Yes. This is. So I mean, you get my point. That's great. That's great, 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 great. So keep that in mind if you guys decide to go into the industry. And this also pertains to auditioning for commercials. Oh my gosh. Has anyone ever auditioned for a commercial? It's terrible. You'll see the commercial on TV, and it's two people sitting at the table having a Thanksgiving dinner. The audition is running around an imaginary basketball court trying to tie each other's shoes. I'm telling you, I have no idea what these casting directors are thinking, but you go into the room and you have to do the most ridiculous things that ultimately do not pertain to the commercial at all. I don't know why they do it, but I haven't booked many commercials, but I don't really care for it. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, this is something I have a problem with, and hopefully you've never heard it if you've listened to any of my video games, but you know the fighting efforts that you do in a lot of battle games, you know, the kill efforts, the killing efforts, you know, that, and it almost happened right now, it makes me throw up. I mean, it's never happened, but it gives me like this gag reflex. And I've told everybody at conventions, I tell this story all the time, but I've never told anyone in the booth. I've never told the engineer or the director. But there's literally been a couple times I'm doing a video game, not the Monokuma games, because he doesn't do things like that, but if I'm doing like a battle game, I'm like, all right, Brian, do like this big ramp up and then the kill. I'm like, hold on, oh, I just need a minute. And then it just starts bubbling up. It's really terrible. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about my body, but it makes me nervous. Anytime I go in for a video game and I tell them, I'm like, can we do all the efforts at the end? Because we may need a cleaning crew. Does anybody have any questions? So anyway, let me just say first, some of the other shows, if you don't know who I am, Digimon, Takato and Digimon. I was in, Takato. Naruto, I played Chojuro and Sakon and Ukon. You guys know Sakon and Ukon? Oh my gosh, those voices, you guys, Sakon and Yukon, the two twin, monster brothers, and they talk like this. And every single video game for Naruto, they're in the game. None of my easy voices are in that game, just the voice that kills my throat. Sakon and Yukon, love them. Of course, Yumachika from Bleach. If you weren't so beautiful, I would have killed you with my Fujikujaku. Absolutely love Yumachika. He loves, I don't love Yumachika as much as Yumachika loves Yumachika. Of course, Octagawa from Bungo Stray Dogs. We love Octagawa. Who here, I'm not going to say anything, don't freak out. Who here in the room knows anything about Chapter 88?
Me.
Just a few. I'm not going to say anything, but there is much more to Bungo Stray Dogs that we don't know about yet. And we are hoping that we get to see more, and there's another season of the anime.
Yes.
It's really great. It's sad and exciting and really, really cool, so I hope it happens. There is supposed to be more Bleach. There is supposed to be more Naruto. There is supposed to be more Blue Exorcist. There is supposed to be more Code Geass. All this stuff is supposed to be happening. Bungo Stray Dogs. I think Takato, he's probably 35 years old now. I don't think there's going to be more Digimon Tamers, but who knows. Anyway, so do we have any questions, you guys?
Do you have any questions? Yeah.
Yes. Hello, Jack. My friend Jack. And this could be questions about anything. Pretty soon I'm going to tell you about a story where I broke into someone's house. All right.
What?
What do you feel is your most underrated anime you've worked on?
Underrated anime? Gosh. Well, I really think... And some people mentioned that they had heard about this show. It's called Doraemon.
Oh.
Do you guys know Doraemon? It was really funny. It was purchased by Disney. It was acquired by Disney as a title. And, Disney likes their own stuff, so it kind of got buried. And I'll just say that I think there's something in the works. But it's very funny. I played Sneetch, the friend of Doraemon, and he was just an awful kid. He stole things, he whined, he complained, and I absolutely loved him and, related to him. No. Anybody else? Any other questions? Just go to any raised hand, sorry.
Hang up.
I wanted to ask, have you read Crime and Punishment?
Have I read Crime and Punishment?
Your best friend.
I have not. I'm spending too much time on Les Miserables.
Okay, and
Yeah.
also, you know how you voiced Octagawa?
Yes.
In Bungo Stray Dogs, it's known that all the characters were based off books.
Yes.
And I think Octagawa's his character was based off the book Rashomon and the 17.
Correct. Actually, all the characters are based. They're named after authors.
I do know that.
Famous literature, famous authors. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because not a lot of people know that, but it's a really cool
I
thing
know
about
that.
the show. It's
For
kind of like
sure.
another layer of the show that I think makes it more interesting. Yeah, that's very smart. Awesome. We had some here too. We'll get to you. Don't worry about it. It's Halloween. Does anyone care? Does anyone care in the UK?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Oh, hello.
Heyo. So apparently you played Krillin in the Bang Zoom Double Dragon Ball Super. Do you occasionally watch back the footage of different dubs of the shows that you voiced in and look how your performance is compared to actors in the same role, or do you just not do
You
that?
going to ask a question?
I think what you wanted to say, do I ever look at my stuff and say, oh, that was terrible? No,
Yes, I can't word good.
sometimes I go back and watch work that I've done. Sometimes it's more fun to watch something that I did 15 or 20 years ago than it is something I did a year ago, right? I think it's smart, at least for me, to watch and listen to what I've done before to learn from it. We talked about this yesterday at a panel across the street. If you spend too much time thinking about the negative and critiquing and criticizing yourself, that's not helpful. But if you can watch your performance back or just learn from what you do and improve upon it next time, yeah, I do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
But sometimes it's hard. Like, who can finish all of Bleach? That went on for 3,500 years. Yes.
If Monokuma had a favorite song, which one would it be?
If Monokuma had a favorite song, what would it be? Matcha butter, what a tragedy, what a bummer. Smells great. Well, my pancakes will taste like that. Monokuma had a favorite song. Healing me softly with his song. Healing me softly. That was really weird and really high. That didn't sound at all like Monokuma. Anyway, what I was saying about, hold on a second, about Halloween is that I've come to London many times, and when did Halloween become a thing in the UK? Because it wasn't for the longest time, right? It wasn't really a holiday that you guys celebrated. When did it start becoming like really popular? Don't know? All of a sudden was, you guys carve pumpkins as well?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a thing. Do you guys have Christmas stuff in the shops?
Yeah.
Like in June?
No. Yeah.
Anything to make a buck? All right, do we have somebody back there? Hey!
Can you do a line of Monokuma that you still remember?
That I still remember. Come on. A body has been discovered. It's punishment time. I'm sorry, that's all I can do. Goodbye. Oh, Monokuma. He's just misunderstood. He's a good person. Good bear.
And which Danganronpa game is your favorite?
I have to be honest. I have not played them. Now, I've watched them. I haven't personally played them, but I've seen all of them. For me, the last one, the V3, I think had the funniest lines. And it's also the one that I can remember because the first one was 10 years ago, you know what I mean? But that one was so funny, and there's so many lines in V3 that didn't make it to the game, you guys. And I don't know if it's because they were just so offensive, if you can imagine that they were so offensive they couldn't be in the game, or just for time. You know, they overwrite all the time. They write so much stuff for video games. But oh my gosh, we laughed and laughed and laughed. Sometimes I couldn't get through the line because we were laughing so much. Yes?
What's your opinion on peaches on pizza?
What?
Remove them. Peaches on pizza? I hope you are joking. What? No peaches on pizza. No, I don't know, I'd probably try it. Oh, last night I had my first sticky toffee pudding.
Oh.
I mean, it was at the Travel Lodge. Are they ever better anywhere else? It was really, really good. That's ridiculous. It's nothing like what I thought it was, and everything that I wanted it to be. It's crazy. Will I get it again tonight? Yes. Yes.
So in the anime, Akagawa obviously looks up to Dazai, but what's your opinion on Dazai?
What's my opinion on Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs? And I talked about this yesterday. You know, there's supposed to be more from Bungo Stray Dogs, so I'm going to leave my opinion up in the air. Who watches Bungo Stray Dogs? It's a lot of people. So I get a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of people that do not like any kind of kinship to Dazai, any kind of relationship. What do you guys think? Yes? Is Dazai a yes?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not Atsushi?
Yeah.
Not Were Tiger? No?
Yeah.
This is Were Tiger? Dazai? I don't know, because I hear different things on TikTok. I don't know. I'll leave it open. I'm not sure. Yes.
Do you think Akutagawa or Theodore would win it? No, wait.
Would they win a fight?
Will Akutagawa win a fight with Theodore, or do you think Theodore will win a fight with Akutagawa?
Will Akutagawa win a fight with Theodore or will? I don't know. Here's the thing. Octagawa, even if Octagawa was to lose a fight, I don't think he would ever consider it a loss. Do you know what I mean? I think regardless, I think the way he feels about himself and the way he carries himself and the way things are going, and I just think that he would find a way to that he won. In some way he won. So I don't know. In reality, maybe not. Maybe he wouldn't, but I think he would try to make it that it seemed like he did. Anyone else? Hello.
What's the most popular anime you've voice acted in?
The most popular anime that I voice acted in. Well, I didn't voice act in the anime for Danganronpa, just the game. But that's getting to be probably the most popular one. Is going to be the games for Danganronpa. Otherwise, I'd probably say Bungo Stray Dogs. What do you guys think? What is another popular anime, if you know, that I voiced in, more popular than Danganronpa or Bungo? Anything? Yeah.
JoJo.
Oh, JoJo. See, here's the thing. Yeah, JoJo. Shigechi. Poor Shigechi, I'm dead. Poor Shigechi, what a terrible death. I guess that's a popular show. What's really strange is that it never became part of my world. Like, when I go to conventions, I just started selling Shigechi prints at this convention. It's the first one. I never had it before because no one ever talked about it. No one ever, just like Beastars. People say that Beastars is popular. I didn't know it. So that's cool that JoJo's popular. I only did one season, but it sure was fun. He was a great character. Hello.
This is just random, but favorite Danganronpa character besides Monokuma?
Favorite Danganronpa character besides Monokuma, whom I love and hate, Junko. It's gotta be. It's meta, it's weird, it's inside.
Who is your favourite Danganronpa protagonist? And please be kind.
I said this before. I think coming from where I need to come from, my protagonist is Monokuma. He's his own protagonist. He's not an antagonist. He's the protagonist of his life. We are all our own protagonists. Yes?
If you could voice any anime character that you want in, who would it be?
If I could voice any anime character that I haven't voiced, who would it be? I don't know if I would necessarily have a character that I would want to voice, but I know that I would like to be in, like, I want to be in My Hero Academia. I talked about this yesterday. I want to be in Yuri on Ice. I want to be in Castlevania. There's a lot of shows that record in Texas at Funimation that I can't, do because I live in LA. So there's a lot of really popular shows that I can't be in that I'd like to. I think if I wasn't cast as Dom the Peacock in Beastars, I would have been really disappointed because that's a show that I really, really think is cool. I mean, you guys, there's so many shows that I've auditioned for that I haven't gotten. I auditioned for the new Sonic the Hedgehog. Did that ever make it as an anime?
Yeah.
A couple years ago? I don't know. It paid so much money. It was literally like $3,000 or $4,000 an episode. And there was like 58 episodes plus games. It was going to change my life. And I had 2 or 3 callbacks. So I was really, really close, but ultimately I didn't get it. But that happens all the time. A million jobs I've never gotten.
Since you voice act Shigechi, please could you shout Josuke down the microphone?
Say what?
Please could you shout Josuke down the microphone?
Josuke! I'm dead!
She goes to say like something else.
Such a terrible death. Who saw JoJo? What did you guys think? Like, was it a surprise? Right? Like, really shocking and weird and sad. I mean, he wasn't an angel. Let's not mince words. He wasn't an angel, but still. Quick, yay!
If you were to pick if you were to pick the funniest quote you've ever said, what would it be and why?
would probably be at an 18 plus panel. No, I don't remember. Funniest quote I've ever said. Oh, well, I'll tell you. I did, and Mary Elizabeth McGlynn has this recorded, and she plays it at panels all the time. I sang this song, and I can't remember the anime it was in, but it got really, really high, and then it turned into a burp. By accident, not on purpose, but I can't remember, it was like, it was so funny, and it really just like came out of me, and the engineer and the director, they must have laughed for 15 minutes. We just could not finish the session. So that's probably the funnest thing that I've ever done in the booth by accident. Oh my gosh. I have to get a recording of that. It's so funny. Yes?
What is your favourite British snack that you've had so far?
Favorite British what?
Snack. Or like sweet or anything like that?
Oh, well, I haven't had a whole lot of British snacks or sweets or everything since I've been here because it's been like such a whirlwind. But tomorrow I head to London for 4 days. I'm staying at a hotel right by the Palace. Very excited. I'm going to have afternoon tea. What do you suggest I get? I mean, I'm going to get the afternoon tea, which I've had before. You know, the scones and the clotted cream and all that stuff. But what should I get? What's a good British thing to get?
Haribos.
Who?
Haribos.
Haribos? Are those candies? They're good? They're British? Okay. What about something a little bit more like what a restaurant? What should I get at a restaurant?
Good old classic fish and chips.
Fish and chips, always. Oh yes. I got